Yeah. Last week, we talked about Henrik Lundqvist and whether he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And so this week, it's only fair that we ask the same thing to Tuuka Rask. What do you think? Is he in the Hall?
Is he in the Hall? Well, it's an interesting question because I think the question is not, is he a Hall of Famer? Because whether or not Tuuka Rask is a Hall of Famer is going to be up to 18 people who get together on a Sunday afternoon, seriously, and hash this out and decide with no accountability and no transparency. So if they decide he's a Hall of Famer, he's a Hall of Famer. I think the question is, should he be a Hall of Famer? And in my mind, he's close. He's borderline, but I don't think he quite gets there. Yeah. He's got the cup, but it was as a backup after he lost the crease because he had it the year before.
Yeah.
Lost the crease to Tim Thomas in the playoffs. Got them to 2 finals, was very, very good through those playoffs, was not so good in some really crucial moments in those finals, in both of those finals. Mm-hmm. Game 7 against St. Louis. I mean, I think the entire Boston Bruins team laid an egg, but he was right there laying it with them. So I put him in kind of the Mike Vernon, Chris Osgood category. Really good at times, but not quite good enough to be great. It'll be interesting, I think, because we're going to see sort of what the pattern's going to be in the next couple of years. No goalie has gotten into the Hall of Fame since 2016 when, for whatever reasons I can even begin to figure out, that they inducted Rogie Vachon 34 years after his career ended.
Yep.
That was the last goalie to get in, but now we're going to have a bit of a run here because this year, Roberto Luongo's up.
Right.
Next year, Hank is up in 2023, and in 2024, Ryan Miller's up. So I think what happens with those guys will be a pretty good bellwether as to whether or not Tuuka Rask gets in. Like if Henrik Lundqvist doesn't get in, and I think he's going to, all those other guys can forget it probably. Yeah. Like if you're basing it on comparisons, but again, you just never know what the Hall of Fame selection committee is going to do, what they're going to think, who they're going to listen to, who they're going to be swayed by. But I don't, in my mind, he's not a Hall of Famer. His body of work isn't that extensive. When you look at it, he's been around for a long time, but I mean, he's 33 in wins, 33rd in wins. He's got 308 wins.
Yeah.
3 more than Billy Smith, but then you look like the playoff resumes don't match up, right? That's why Billy Smith's in the Hall of Fame. So, in the end, long-winded answer, long way of answering a short question. No, I don't believe he is Hall of Fame caliber.
Yeah.
But I suppose we'll find out in the next couple of years.
My brother was part of a folk duo in the 90s, and one of his songs was about Art Garfunkel dying and meeting Salieri in heaven and basically just being these always outshined people.
Wow.
Right? That were brilliant in their own respects, but were just always outshined. Anyways, very dark, but you just reminded me of that when you talked about Tuuka Rask.
Of course I did.
Why wouldn't you? All right, so this is the one that I have some strong feelings about. First of all, I agree with you. I don't think that he's a Hall of Famer. I was actually thinking about comparing Rask to Lundqvist last week when we were talking about Lundqvist. And so here's what I'm going to say. Generations of goaltenders seem to be very much divided in 3s, right?
Okay.
You've got like Terry Sawchuk, Glenn Hall, Jacques Plante.
Right.
Maybe Johnny Bauer's in there, but he came in a little bit later than those guys. But that was the generation. Right? Those guys ran the roost. Then you got Dryden, Esposito, and Vladislav Tretiak. Mm-hmm. Right? Those guys ran the 70s. Now,
Bernie Parent too.
I was going to say Bernie Parent if you want to take out Tretiak and be all NHL biased.
Yeah.
But I would say Tretiak, right?
Or if you think Tretiak's overrated, which I do. I do.
I've got a funny story about his goalie school, but we can save that for another day because I got enough here.
Yeah.
And then you've got Waugh, Hasek, and Trevor Kidd. Marty Brodeur, who, by the way,
and Ed Belfour nipping at the periphery there.
But here's the thing, and I've got in brackets, an argument could be made for Ed Belfour or Curtis Joseph, but the fact is that the best goalie of all time is one of Waugh, Hasek, or Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, and it's Hasek.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I won't argue with anybody saying any of those three.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It's over. Yeah. It's Hasek.
My point is that you like Belfour in another generation would have been one of those three. But we're talking about the greatest generation of goaltenders, right?
Right.
In this generation, and this generation I've defined as people who've had their primes line up at least about 4 or 5 years with each other.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
There's Price, Luongo, Lundqvist, Fleury, Miller, Bobrovsky, Holtby, Rene, Rask, Quick, Mike Smith, and Corey Crawford. And there's not a huge drop-off in any of that list. Now, you can make that list any way you want. Yeah. But none of those guys you say, no, that's tier 2.
Yeah, so you're not putting Vasilevsky in that group. He's sort of
too young.
He's sort of the next part.
Yeah,
because he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, big time.
Because seriously,
big time.
He is so projecting to be one of the greatest goalies of all time. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous.
Completely agree.
So, okay, yeah.
Completely agree.
Okay.
And so in order to get into the Hall of Fame within this class, you have to do something. It's either your body of work or what you contributed to the sport.
Okay.
And so Lundqvist, I said yes because he contributed something to the sport, but Rask is just an excellent goalie in a generation of excellent goaltenders.
Yeah.
And he didn't really contribute anything, because I think that Carey Price makes it in because he contributed a lot to the position, right? He was the measuring stick for like 10 years. For goaltenders. So I think that Carey Price makes it in. But Rask, like you said, he won a cup as a backup goalie.
Right. And got there twice as a starter.
Yeah.
He was great in the 2005 World Juniors.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
Yeah, big time.
I think it was 2005, Vancouver. The one where Justin Pogge didn't have to do anything to win a gold medal.
Yeah.
Like he was lights out in that tournament, but that's not, like, stuff like that isn't enough.
So last point of this, more proof of the parody of today. Between 2008, when Rask played his first NHL game, and 2021, do you know how many different goalies won the Vezina?
What years?
Between 2008 and 2021.
So that's a total of 14 years?
Yeah.
I'll say 9?
12.
12. Okay.
12. Only 2 repeats in Tim Thomas and Sergei Bobrovsky.
Right, okay.
And Tim Thomas I didn't put into that group because, again, I don't think that his prime lined up enough with other people's primes.
And plus, his body of work isn't big enough.
It's not that big.
He started real late. What I will
13 years before that, do you know how many people won the Vezina?
3.
7.
Okay.
But my point is that there's this parody now that exists that didn't exist before.
Yeah. What I will say about Tuuka Rask is that for 10 years, the Boston Bruins had 0 concerns about goaltending.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible to me. Like, it's incredible that you go that long. Right. Like, even if you have a Carey Price, you're concerned about your goaltending right now in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah. Samuel Montembeault starter.
There's some times when you're concerned about like last year with Sergei Bobrovsky and the year before.
Right.
Like to go 10 years and to know that you've got above average to elite goaltending, like that's huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
But still not enough. Close, but not enough.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, like you said, the distinction is that this conversation is, do we think that he's deserving to be in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
And we seem to be on the same page.
I just to belabor this a little more. I'm not a big one for this guy's in, so this guy should be in. I hate that. I don't like that.
2 wrongs don't equal a right.
Exactly. You don't correct mistakes by making more mistakes. Right? Where was I going with this?
In terms of
yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm not big on that, but like you look and like Tom Barrasso's not in the Hall of Fame.
Right, exactly.
How do you not have Tom Barrasso in the Hall of Fame and then have
Tuuka Rask,
or for that matter, even a Henrik Lundqvist, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, Barrasso won he came out of high school, won the Vezina Trophy.
Yeah.
And the Calder Trophy, 2 cups. Like what? Like, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
I experienced it firsthand a couple of times because he actually played in Toronto for a very, very, very brief time.
Yeah.
Like jerk, massive jerk, but that's neither here nor there. You judge what he did on the ice.
Yeah. My understanding is that there may be more than a couple of jerks in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Hall of Fame.
Oh, did I say that?
Did I? Yeah. Whoops. So, do you want to move on? I think that we've.
Yeah, I think we pretty much beat that into a carcass.
I've got like this much notes on like the goaltending, and then like the rest of my answers are like this.
Okay, good. So you won't be talking as much.
Yeah, I plan to just shut right up after this.
I think that helps. I think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah, I've just got pithy comments after this.
Pithy. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Why are you getting so pithy?
I'm not, he said pithily. It was a short and strong answer, is what it was.
Right on. Okay.
Boy. That was a really good one, Ken.
Oh, thanks.
Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to say, please subscribe, kencampbell.substack.com. Like this podcast, take some time to leave a review. Very helpful. Subscribe to the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or YouTube or wherever you want to get your podcasts. And again, for this podcast and more writing directly into your inbox, kencampbell.substack.com. Let's move on to the next point. Sticking with the Boston Bruins,